welcome back to Street Rust. Just want to let you all know at any given time, a child, a dog, yes, dogs can open doors, a wife, or who knows who could come barging through this door. These are absolutely the times we're living in. Things are kind of chaotic right now. Anyway, once again, welcome back to Street Rust. You know, this channel is about having fun, getting old rusty cars back on the road. That's what I love to do. But it has just been one of those weeks where that really hasn't happened. But with a full-time career, family, kids in college, kids in junior high, sometimes things just get in the way. As an example, you can't see it, but in my garage here, the Galaxy's still over here, still not running. We're gonna do some more work on it tonight. The Ford LTD is out of the garage. That project has stopped temporarily, just for a week or so. And the Chrysler Newport, the 68 Newport, is still sitting out there under a tarp. And I have all the heater parts over here. Haven't got to that quite yet. So, had a problem on my son's Mustang. He's got a 2000 Mustang. It's a manual. It's a 3.8 to V6. It was his first car. Wouldn't let him have a V8 for his first car. And we had a #1 spark plug popped out, aluminum heads, did a helicoil. A week later, popped back out. There's nothing left in there to thread, so we're going to have to pull the head off. We'll probably just go down to the salvage yard, find one, put it back on. Just need this car to last until he makes it through college. He'll be graduating in May. So, what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to get back on the Galaxy 500, 1968, Ford 302. We're going to install the intake. We're going to adjust the valves, and we're going to install this trigger. By the time we get to that, we should be, next video, sorry we haven't got it started yet. Next video, this thing should be cranking up. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But one thing I do want to talk about before we get started. One of the things that was the most difficult for me to wrap my brain around was understanding when you put the distributor in, and understanding when the engine is at top dead center on the compression stroke. Okay, that was difficult for me. It took me a while. I had to read, I had to study, had to get the 4-cycle 2-valve engine theory in my head, and I believe I've got it, and I want to share it with you tonight. Hopefully I can make it a little more simpler where it's easy to explain. So I'm going to shoot the camera over here, and we're going to do that. I think we're going to zoom that in a little bit. There we go. Get that focus good. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I got my trusty pointer here, chrome dipstick. You guys have heard about 4-stroke cycle, 4-stroke engine. I'm going to use this Ford 302 as an example. It's a 2-valve. Each piston's only got 2 valves. It has an intake and an exit. Now, depending on what side of the engine you're on the driver's side, which is the number 5, 6, 7, 8 piston, is exhaust valve first. But on the #1, on the passenger side, you have a intake and you have an exhaust valve. Time for a drink of water. Okay, so 4-stroke cycle. 1 stroke, intake, 2nd stroke compression, 3rd stroke power, 4th stroke is exhaust. It just continuously makes that cycle. Here's what happens. On your head, #1 piston, your intake valve opens as the piston is going down. That allows fuel in. The 2nd cycle, as that piston comes back up, both the intake and the exhaust valves are closed. That compresses the fuel, that atomizes the fuel. Okay? You can go read about that. It's pretty interesting, excuse me. Okay, 3rd stroke, power stroke. Note that the intake and the exhaust valve are still closed. The spark plug gives the spark. It ignites that atomized fuel, and that's what gives all the power right to your crank. Okay, when that's done, remember this is all happening in a split second. It just keeps happening over and over again. For your exhaust stroke, your exhaust valve opens. Okay? And as that piston comes up, all that spent fuel comes out. That's your exhaust right there. It's that simple. Okay. You notice that during this 4 strokes, the intake valve only opens one time. The exhaust valve only opens one time, but it's happening that fast. So now, top dead center compression stroke. That's where you want to be when you install your distributor. Okay. So when you're sitting there looking at that head, and you've got the spark plug out, and you can put a compression checker in the #1 spark plug hole. You can just put your thumb over it. You have somebody hand crank that engine for you. When you are coming up on that compression stroke, both valves, both rockers will not be moving because the valves are closed. And when it goes poof, you know you're at top dead center right there. And you guys know I like to use this trusty tool right here to stick down the spark plug hole as I gently bring that up, and this rises and lets me know I'm getting at the top. So there you go. That's how you get any engine really, whether it's a 4-cylinder, 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder. Identify the #1 piston. Both valves are shut as it's coming up. If your exhaust valve is open as it's coming up, that's the exhaust stroke, and that's what you don't want. Your distributor will be 180 degrees out, and that for a novice guy like me, that's how you learn, because it's a nightmare. You'd be scratching your head all night. Okay, so let's get into the videos on getting the intake on, adjusting the valves, and getting the distributor in, and we'll get this. We're so close to getting this engine running. I want it to move under its own power. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, let's talk intake. For the 302, this is the stock cast iron intake, 2-barrel. You know, we get this thing running down the road, we'll look at a 4-barrel carb, probably a mild cam, double roller timing chain, headers, things of that nature. But right now, got to get this bad boy running. So anyway, a couple quick things. Didn't mention before on the heads. I did tap out every hole for the head. I tapped out every hole. Tapped out all the holes for the head, which would be these all the way back. Also tapped out all the holes for the intake. And coming back over here for all the bolts, I also chased these bolts right here, and got these cleaned up. I am reusing those, and we got everything ready to go. Watched a lot of videos on gaskets. Here's what I'm going to do. The only sealer that we're going to use, you'll see me do it, is going to be on the water jackets on this end and this end. What we'll do is put a small bead around on each side, which will seal up the water jackets. That's the only silicone RTV that we're going to use on those gaskets. Now, the other gaskets right here, and that's the one for the back. This is the one for the front. Not going to use it. These things are notorious for leaking, even if they're the silicone ones with the lip that hangs over, and they also leak here at this point and this point. Same thing in the back. Okay, we are not going to use these. We're going to just do a thick bead of silicone across all the way across here. Same thing in the back. So, getting everything ready, I'll get this set up and we'll start shooting. And by the way, this thing weighs 3 million pounds. I guarantee I'll be setting it on the fender, getting in the engine compartment again, and lifting that thing into place. One more thing I forgot to show you. We do have a torque sequence for the intake manifold, which I'll be using this pattern right here, and the torque spec for this, let me find it here, for the intake manifold for a 302 is 20 to 22 foot-pounds. So we'll probably aim for about 21. It says do it in 2 steps. Don't know how that's even possible. It torqued at only 20 to 22 foot-pounds, but I'll probably do it at 10 foot-pounds and then bump it up to about 21. Okay, adjusting the valves. Not going to get too deep into this, but Ford 302, piston 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Firing order 1, 5, 4, 2, 6, 3, 7, 8. We bring the number 1 piston. I'm using this old dipstick to tell when the number 1 piston is at top dead center. Top dead center down here, it's on the compression stroke. What the manual tells you to do is, I actually need to have 2 wrenches, but anyway, we're going to be quick about this. You've got play in here. And look, I'm going to do number 1, and then I'll jump over and do number 5. You want to use your fingers. There's play in here. You tighten that thing down until you can't turn that with your finger. We're getting there. Okay. Oh, it's there. It's almost there. Okay. No, not quite. Well, I didn't have these on very far, so it's going to take a little bit to do this. There we go. I can barely turn it. Now, I can barely turn it. I can turn it. Okay. Okay. I cannot turn that with my hands. Once you've got it there, you give it 1 full turn. Okay? Same thing over here. I'm going to zip through this pretty quick here. I'm just kind of eyeballing the other one here to see how close we're getting. And that thing is still pretty loose. Now, I have not preloaded my lifters. There we go. There we go. I need to back that off to see where I'm at. Got a little too tight. There we go. I can turn it with my finger. Now, I cannot. So, I'm going to go 1 full turn. There it is. Once we've done that, you're going to go to the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Firing order is 1, 5. So what we're going to do is give this, on a 302, you give it a quarter turn. Quarter turn. Now, I want to make sure that that number 5 piston is at top dead center. I'm using this old dipstick in the spark plug hole. It's gonna show me when that piston is all the way up. Just very gently. Okay, we stopped moving right there. Okay, that number 5 is the top dead center. Now, same thing. We're going to tighten these down. Until you can't twist that rod with your fingers. Oh yeah, we got a long ways to go there. Okay, I cannot turn that. So I'm going to back it off till I can. Okay, I can turn that with my hands, my fingers. Come on now. I don't have time for this. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I cannot turn it, so I'm going to give it one full turn. That's setting it, okay? Same thing on this one. Get that sucker down. Yeah, we can still turn it. Well, that seems awfully loose. I need to come back and check that out and see what's going on. Okay, I cannot turn it. Oh, I can't turn it. I cannot turn it. I'm going to back it up. I can turn it. I can turn it. Cannot turn it, so I'm going to give it one full turn. Okay, now that's as it should be. This one, something's not right here. I don't have that one tight enough. Something, I think I got a little premature on that. Okay, I cannot turn it. Now, I'm going to give it one full turn. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we did number 1 and 5. Then I'll do 4 and 2 in the firing order. Then I'll go 6, 3, 7, and 8. Each time I go from one piston to the next, I'm turning it a quarter turn. And then we'll double check this when we get done to make sure everything where it needs to be. All right. Okay. Last night got the intake on. I got some wiring pulled up into there for the oil sensor, the water temp sensor, the coil, the power to the coil. Got the carb put on. Worked on some vacuum lines. Got all that, you know, the throttle linkage hooked up, all that kind of good stuff. Did that. So what we're going to get ready to do now tonight is we're going to adjust the valves, because they're just basically sitting there right now, and get the distributor in and try to get this thing to fire over. Over here, I do have the distributor. Look at that nice warm cup of hazelnut coffee. Gotta love that on a cold December night. But we got the distributor. It's ready to go. Didn't have any problems with spark before when we tried starting this a long time ago. It was all compression issues. I did take the stock headers. I just cleaned them up with a wire wheel, hit them with some flat black paint for now. The plan long term when we go to a 4-barrel intake, carb, cam, we'll go ahead and put some headers on there as well. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's talk distributor here. Ford 302 distributor. The good thing is the cap only goes on one way, and it has number one position right there, which I've marked right here and right here. We've got all the valves adjusted. We got the number 1 piston at top dead center of the compression stroke. So basically, I've put some assembly lube down here as well, just to try to ease the process. But anyway, we want the rotor, obviously, pointing to that number 1 position when we drop it down in there. And it hasn't dropped. You can see that I'm way off here. You probably can't see that, and I'm not even in all the way. So let's give this a little jimmy here. Come on now. Just got to kind of wiggle it and jiggle it. There we go. Now, right there, I am not in all the way. I am not in all the way. There we go. And I'm in all the way. I don't like that. This needs to be more to the front here to match up with everything. So I'm going to twist this a little bit. I'm going to twist this a little bit. And we're way off there. Got to come a couple more teeth to the left. I don't like that. A little more. Come on now. All right. I wanted about, actually, that's where I wanted, so where isn't it going in there? There we go. And that's off a couple teeth. There's no way I'd bump into the thermostat housing here. I want it like right there. So shouldn't be this difficult, but you just play with it until you get it. That's just all there is to it. All right. There we go. It's not seated. Not playing nice. Okay, it goes in there, but you can see how number 1 is going to be pointing right here. If I put the rotor cap on, it's way over there. Not even close to what I need. So I'm going to continue. Oh, come on now. Got to be a bear, don't you? There we go. See, I'm still a little too far off. The whole thing needs to come this way. So I need to come over a couple teeth here. There we go. That's still too far. There we go. Now it's too far the other way. There we go. Oh, there we go. We're not seated. We are not seated. Oh, there we go. And nope, that's too far over. Come on now. You could work with me a little. Oh, perfect. Perfecto. We can work with that. You know what? We can't work with that. I want it a little bit this way so that when we mess with the timing. There we go. I want you to set in right like that right there. Okay, there you go. So what we're going to do now, I don't know what I'm going to do now, but I'm going to get this thing rocking. We'll probably crank the engine over a couple times, make sure I got oil coming up through there before I put the valve covers on. I will get all the power hooked up, got the battery in, get it installed, and we'll do a quick check here just to make sure the points are working.